Okay, so this should be a good frame for this video. Um, I want to continue on with my Haversack Essentials kit using the kit items. But I want to say again, I really appreciate the views I've gotten on this series, especially the first one. But the follow-up videos have actually gotten a lot of views and really good comments. I want to say I appreciate that, and I also appreciate anyone who has subscribed. I'm not doing this for money. I never expected my YouTube channel to take off or anything like that. This is just something I enjoy doing. I try to share what I can, and to me, this is also like a video journal of my experiences, and it's a way that I can share with people who I run out in the real world. And I mentioned something, they maybe see my haversack because I take it to work sometimes and do things with it, and they're like, "What is that?" And I can say, "Well, you watch YouTube, look this up." So, anyways, getting into that, I want to try to keep this video a little shorter. I'm still working up to my campsite video, but in preparation for that, I thought I would go ahead and do show some rope tricks that I like to use. I mentioned that I don't like to waste paracord. Paracord is one of those things that I plan on retrieving, and I have several knots that I use to do that. So I'm going to try to share them with you now. This is basically just a whip knot, and this is the same type of knot that is the wrap I use for the wrap guard on my tomahawk here. So that's one use of it. You can also use it to, like, if this handle were to crack and I just needed to, bind it up and use it to get by, that knot works really good for that. But of course, people like to use them for ridge lines and stuff. So I'm gonna show a couple of knots. So how this works, this is actually basically a cord holder and dispensing device or setup. And all I do is I pull this tail out here, and it's locked in with one of these loops. And as you pull this tail, it just deploys. Now, I do have a loop in the end of this. And of course, this is a really long piece. This is about 30-foot paracord. Now, it does have a loop in the end of it. And a loop is great for utility tasks and stuff. Obviously for bowstring, like I mentioned, I use paracord for a lot of my bows. But you can also just take and turn this inside out on itself, and now you have a slip knot, and that works great for just thrown over the stump of a limb or something like that, something that's right there. But what about wrapping it around a tree, securing one end for say a ridge line? I'm going to tell you, it is a pain to go like this and then feed 30 feet of line through this little loop, and then when you're done, with the other end, taking everything down and then pull it all back through. So I'm going to show you a knot that I love, and it's from my childhood growing up with horses. You go like this, and there's a mantra to this. Under, so you take your tail end, under, over, and then you take a loop and you go through, and you end up with a knot that I have seen a horse completely rear back on and not come undone. I figured the snap on the halter would have broke. This is what we used to do, or used to tie horses to, like, hitching stations and stuff. This ain't coming undone. Now, I'm not saying I would use it to climb, but it definitely will work to hold the tarp up over my head. And what's really nice about it, comes right out. So I'm going to say it again. You go over, and you can go around any way you want, but you take your two ends. So this is your line, and this is your working end or tail. You go under, cross over, so wrap it around once, and then you take a loop of this tail, put it in the through part. You go through the V that's against the tree, and then you got a loop from wrapping it back over, or bringing it back around, and there you go. And that will cinch down, and like that. I mean, I'm leaning on that, and it pops right out. So I'm going to set this up like I would a ridge line. So I go under, over, through, get that thing cinched down like this, and then I'll come over to here. Now, if I was running a tarp with this, what I would do is I would take a grommet. I'd take the grommet of my poncho, poke it up through here, poke it up through the grommet, put a toggle through there, pull that tight, come over here, and anchor it to this tree with on the other deal. But the other knot that I like to use, again, under, over, through, is just a good old trucker's hitch. So a trucker's hitch, and you will find a lot better videos on this knot than what I'm going to do here. But just to kind of throw it out there for anyone like that doesn't know, you come like this and you make a loop, and then you take another loop, poke it through that one, pull it back on itself. You keep a hold of that loop, and then there you go. Now this is a slip knot, so now you just reach around your other anchor point, pull this through, and this is what a lot of people use to tie loads down on trailers if they don't have ratchet straps. Then you just have to pinch this off, wrap it around once, make a loop, feed that bite, what they call it, and pull it tight. There you go. And like that, you just put your grommets through there or on there with a couple of loops and a toggle, and you're good to go. And all you have to do, sometimes this doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. You just gotta play with it. But when you're done, say you're stealth camping or something, it's not gonna, that don't want to come out now, but pull hard enough and it will. Come over here, give that a pop. Now you're done. So that's my use for paracord, because like that, it can hold like 550 pounds. So I know it's not going to just pop apart. Another useful knot that I use a lot in fishing, because I actually do I make my own kits, and I like to use like cork and stuff, and I'll take like an Altoids tin and pack it full of a bunch of stuff, and I'll use bank line or paracord. Sometimes I have it because I didn't have anything else. And how I attach my cork is I'll say you need to do a makeshift bobber or something. This would float just fine, and you can use a clove hitch. And clove hitch is just a loop and a loop like this. So you turn it and then turn it again, and then put the second loop behind the first one, tighten it all down, get it where you want it, and now you've got, an object in your line. So like that, now I could hook a leader off of this and toss it in the creek, pull it back out when I'm done, and all I got to do is work it loose, and it comes right back out. So these are knots that I use to retrieve my rope when I'm done with it. And most of these knots will work on something as fine as fishing line all the way up to, full-size rope. So to put it back into that bundle I originally had it in, you just do a whip knot. And a whip knot is basically just you lay it on, you know, like this, and you have this tail end will actually pull this loop shorter, and you basically just go like this and start wrapping it. And you just wrap it. Of course, you do it cleaner than this, but you wrap this up until you get to the end, and then you tuck the end into this loop and then pull this tight. And if you're just doing cord storage, you just pull it to right there. And if you're wanting to do something more permanent, you would leave a longer tail and you would pull that until it actually retracted down into there, and then call it good and cut your slack off. But again, it's retrievable. So for storing cord like this, some people will do a hank, and you go like this, and you end up going like this, doing like a figure 8 pattern. But by the time I put this much cord into something like that configuration, it's going to be about the size of my fist, and I want it to ride in the bottom of my haversack. So I've done this so many times I can just do it now. But I make my I fold it. So what I do is I don't do this. I fold it, and I basically just do a loop at the top, loop at the bottom, and repeat and repeat and repeat. I'm wrapped around this tree, sorry. Here. Get undone. There we go. Repeat, repeat, and just get that all gathered up. This should be about 8 to 10 inches. Every fold should be. All right, and then what I do is I know that I need about a pull and a half. Come down here. Now, this tail is pointed down, and so's this tail. And I wind it back up this bundle here. And I just go like this. Make it as clean and tight as you want. You can also just kind of do a slapdash, but it still works. But I may not pull this again for a long time, so I want it to be as clean as possible. And it doesn't matter if, like, say you come back like this and then come back up, it'll still work. Okay, now when you get up to the kind of the finish of this, you tug on this tail here, and you find which one of these loops is trying to pull back through, and you wrap back up to it. And I still want to say it's this one here. Yep, that is. You feed your tail through. I pulled off just a little extra, but that's all right. And now it's all back in one clean bundle and it goes back in the bag. So anyways, I hope this one was useful. It's kind of just a quick one, but again, it's really handy to know this stuff. That way you don't have to waste your resources, especially like that. If you got into a survival situation, or, like that, you just, save your material. So, you have it for the next trip. So anyways, yeah. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you on the next one.